Trending this week on Netflix: DB Cooper, Breaking Bad, Shadow and Bone, Money Shot, and Dark Knight, which released in 2008. Okay, where is Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and all of the other interesting movies which I badly want? I mean, I do like documentaries, but how could the #1 streaming platform have the most uninteresting lineup? What just happened? Netflix used to be so much fun earlier, but now it competes with documentary makers like BBC and PBS. Well, Netflix has come a long way since the 1997 mail-order DVD startup fighting against Blockbuster, the Goliath of home entertainment. But now the David of the movie exhibition has found itself a victim of its own mammoth success, with rivals eating away at their profits, their market share, and even their reputation. Disney Plus has shown a tremendous growth in the past 3 years, with a staggering 165 million active users, and Amazon Prime, which is more like a government organization, slow but strong. So how did Netflix lose its footing, and does it have a chance to bounce back? Or are the likes of Disney Plus and Amazon mere moments away from dishing out a devastating death blow? Let's look at where things started to go wrong with Netflix, starting with password sharing. Netflix were the first whiz kids to figure out how to develop a working model around streaming, in part due to password sharing boosting early growth. Netflix was so big on users piggybacking off each other that they even tweeted jokes about the not-so-open secret. For a while, this made sense. If this new landscape was the gold rush for film and television entertainment, then it was vital to accrue as large a subscriber base and fan base as fast as possible before any real competition showed up. But ever since Amazon and Disney Plus hit the scene, as well as the likes of Hulu and HBO, Netflix found their subscriber rates slowing down significantly. Unlike the House of Mouse and the rocket bases of Bezos, Netflix can't supplement their business model with other revenue streams, so the move to clamp down on password sharing was necessary for the Big N to dam up the leaks. Unfortunately, this put a sour taste in customers' mouths. And that was before the raised prices and accounts tiers have tested consumer loyalty. After all, streaming was initially billed as the cheaper alternative to cable, where you'd only pay for the stuff you wanted. Now, with a plethora of streaming giants on offer, choosing which service to stay with in a time of economic turmoil is as easy as deciding which school bully you'd like to see flipping burgers in a rundown Burger King. The bottom line is, when it comes to content, Netflix can't compete. Yes, their bold push into the original content was a risk that paid off early on. House of Cards and the later seasons of Breaking Bad proved Netflix could be more than a distribution service. However, their output of original content has been so high that it's come to a cost of quality. A Netflix original is now the kiss of death and routinely mocked in all comedy corners, including SNL. Compare that to Disney, who will be able to milk the newly acquired franchises like Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel until Walt's frozen body finally thaws out. Amazon has made bold moves into IP rights too, with Lord of the Rings and The Boys. These well-known names really stand in stark contrast to the likes of Netflix's mishandled Witcher series and the waning Stranger Things ecosystem. Though that's not entirely Netflix's fault. Initially, Netflix was the only place to stream Disney films as well as early Marvel shows like Daredevil. But as soon as other places starting to build their streaming platforms, titles started to disappear from Netflix, with the only chance of those shows returning coming at an inflated license cost. And that's just new content. Legacy is an important selling point for any studio, but without a backlog of hits, Netflix has no choice but to double down on their original content output, at least from a business point of view. From a customer standpoint, it leaves much to be desired. Sure, Netflix is still sweeping award ceremonies with hits like All Quiet from the Western Front, but these are proving to be the exception to the rule. More often than not, Netflix is shelling out millions of dollars on films with big names, but small critical success, minimal viewer interest, and zero cinema distribution. Red Notice cost Netflix £20 million for each of its 3 leads, Paul Reynolds, Gal Gadot, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who watched it, let alone count it as their top 10 best movies of all time. Holiday movies aren't exactly synonymous with Netflix either. Whatever calendar celebration comes along next, your best bet for a classic is on another platform. Netflix Christmas movies are so cheesy that even Hallmark cringes. To everyone but Netflix, it is strange to see them powering through their current approach. Not because this company got to where it is now by being innovative and adapting, but because its rivals seem to be benefiting from its long-abandoned practices. Way back when Netflix and Amazon had a partnership, Netflix noticed how the number of customers buying DVDs through their Bezos affiliate link radically exceeded the number of users who came to Netflix for rentals. But Netflix knew money was in rentals, so that changed when Netflix adopted a subscription model and abandoned the ability to rent titles individually. Yet Amazon has now implemented the pay-for-what-you-watch approach with surprising success. For reasons that only gods can know, customers who weren't galvanized by renting individual titles back in the day have now become Amazon's edge over their previous ally. This could be that Amazon Prime is seen as a bonus to their shopping business. Customers will be less likely to cancel their Prime subscription because they didn't buy it for the entertainment in the first place. This means Amazon makes money first on the subscription and then on the rental, whereas Netflix's only way to raise funds is through subscription. Or is it? Despite a boost in subscribers thanks to the global pandemic, it seems Netflix has hit a subscriber ceiling. With attention being split between other platforms and other pieces of entertainment, Netflix sees themselves competing with Fortnite and TikTok more than HBO. It looks like the well has run dry for the streaming giant. So what do you do when your only card to play is doubling down on your crazy expensive original content production? Answer? Advertisements. That's right. One of the initial selling points of Netflix looks to be kicked to the curb when the lower tier accounts will have the joy of paying to watch commercials. Needless to say, consumers are angry, but Netflix has another ace up their sleeve. You may have noticed more documentaries streaming on the platform. This is no coincidence. Documentaries are comparatively much cheaper to make or buy than fiction narrative, and they tend to have a higher retention rate. Will this be enough to keep Amazon and Disney Plus at bay? Probably not. It's not streaming wars anymore. It's production wars. And yes, Disney and HBO, with their crappy apps, are more attractive there, Netflix. Streaming software isn't exclusive to Netflix anymore, so now that the likes of Paramount and Warner Brothers are putting their hats in the ring, it seems like the only way for Netflix to beat them is to join them. Becoming a fully fledged movie studio is the next logical step for Netflix. They already have great inroads with production, plus an inbuilt distribution platform. However, they are more experienced in the ways of marketing and merchandising than their competitors, without the safety net of an additional service or legacy library to fall back on. Take the case of The Irishman, a $250 million movie which earned a paltry $8 million in theatrical revenue since it was released on Netflix first. Blunder! This wouldn't be the first time that Netflix has had to take a big risk to survive, however. Now, the question isn't quite so much, will Netflix be around forever, but will Netflix be number one? Disney and Amazon are the Sega and Xbox to Netflix's Nintendo. Or maybe they're PlayStation, or Netflix is PlayStation and Disney Nintendo. It gets confusing, we admit it, but that's only because we're entering what could be the final battle of the streaming wars. So it could be decided who has the edge to pull ahead and who will be knocked so far back they haven't the slightest chance to reach the front of the pack. So, which horse are you betting on? Whose stock should we buy, and which company will be eating the dust? Share your theories and insider tips down below. If you'd like more videos on business warfare, then be sure to like the video and don't forget to send this to someone deciding what streaming platform to stay with. As always, hit subscribe and we'll see you soon.